Hey, health warriors, here's the two exercises: the walk to the kitchen, or maybe the run from the kitchen. How do you expect to see abs no matter what crazy exercise you do if you have a layer of fat over them, no matter how large those muscles are? You ever seen a sumo wrestler? The brutal reality is most influencers are genetically jacked and they have the potential for it. They probably already had it and they start cleaning up their diet a little bit, but it's not from some exercise. I think they believe that, but it's not. If you have fat over your stomach, and that's all done in the kitchen, you could have the strongest, thickest abdominal muscles like a sumo wrestler, and you're not going to see definition. And that's true for the whole rest of your body. The elusive six-pack abs is something I've chased my whole life, and I have touched upon it a few times. Do I have a perfect six-pack abs now? No. But I'm here to tell you the kitchen is how you gain definition. And if you even want a chance at it, and unfortunately, here's the reality of it, just like some people can't dunk a ball like LeBron James or change their eye color, it's very challenging, and our genetics have a big component of it. Can you do things and stack it in your favor? Sure, you can do crazy things to lose as much body weight as possible, and there are people that are not in shape at all that have amazing abs, and they're not exactly healthy. The magic happens entirely in the kitchen for definition. So if you listen to me for a second, I'm going to get you to shift your focus and maybe help your health journey along the way. If you're entirely here for abs, you can cut the video off now. The number, there's no exercise, and you can look. There's countless of folks out there telling you this is the exercise you should do, that's the exercise you should do. And in fact, I saw a video this morning where this guy had this catchphrase, and he was like, well, are you going hips to nips or nips to hips? And I was like, this is so cheesy. And even he addressed right away, it's all about diet, right? The exercise is pretty simple. It's not very hard to work out your stomach muscles. You just have to unveil the fat over the top of them, and you're gonna have a six-pack. And the only way you have a challenge doing that is in the kitchen. So I'm Coach Dan. I'm a former Army officer who greatly struggled with my weight, even though I was a professional, even though I have a degree in health and human performance, even though I wrestled in the Army. I wrestled, as a child, and was extremely competitive, extremely motivated, even though I went to flight school and we used to run like 3 miles every morning. Like, the Army doesn't have a PT program, that's a physical training program. They have a running program. And so it wasn't doing all these exercises to keep you thin. And I kind of figured out, and now I hardly ever do a lot of running. And, I got caught up in that vicious cycle of the harder I tried, the more dedicated I was. Yeah, I would lose weight temporarily and I'd put it back on, and I had no idea why, and I know exactly what's going on now. And it really kind of struck me that, and I ended up creating a system. I wrote an ebook. If you comment or ask me or email me, I will get that in your hands. But I wrote an ebook on food addiction because basically that's what's going on. We're all hyper addicted to all these foods we don't even realize. There's things we think are healthy and we're addicted to them. And so it's really the kitchen. And if you're addicted to something, how are you supposed to have willpower when you're addicted to something? Right. And so same problem, I wasn't lacking any exercise. The stress that comes with exercise and intense cardio actually has the reverse effect. And I found that out. So I was creating a metabolic problem and doing that thing that everybody tells you to do that it doesn't work. And so look around. Naturally, people like to run. Naturally skinny people like to run. And, naturally strong people like to lift. Now, that doesn't mean you can't train in those directions and use specificity of training. But, you don't see heavy people doing a lot of running. Well, you actually do. You go to the gym and you see them, and then I feel bad for them because hopefully they figure this out, like I have. It's the less I ran, the less I stressed my body, the more I understood nutrition. And I think activity is very important, but you are going to, it's very easy to overdo, and we think working is going to help us out. So abs are not built in the gym, they're revealed in the kitchen. The gym supports the process. Activity is good. It's almost not necessary. Our bodies are a genius because I believe they were built by a genius. And a lot of it's just getting out of the way. And what's in the way? The standard American diet. And things we think are quote unquote healthy are poisoning us, spiking our blood sugar, raising our insulin, messing our hormones, interrupting our sleep. Right. So you have to get in front of that, and you have to understand a few things. So if you've been this long, please pay attention to this. I'm going to get to some really good stuff. And so hopefully you'll appreciate that. All right. So, and if any of this is hitting home for you, hit the subscribe button, or please consider doing it. It'll motivate me to put out more videos like this. So I have actually a deadline. I've committed to doing at least 2 a week. I'm going to start doing 3 a week. I'm currently finishing up my last year as a JRTC instructor, and just a busy guy. And so, but I'm really passionate about this, and I really feel like I can help people stop suffering needlessly. So again, you can't see abs no matter what exercise you do. Look at sumo wrestlers. There's just countless gym bros. Like, I even see doctors, and it makes me cringe. There's doctors that are clearly getting enhancements, which I've never done. And I think, so, I'm not going to judge anybody on their health journey. I just think you should try things naturally first. But there's influencers out there, and they're not telling you the whole story. Some of them are on gear. There's a doctor that's clearly on gear, and I won't name him, but you can see it on there. And he likes to act like, well, he's a doctor, and he does have amazing genetics, and he's on gear, and he's making really good money to where, he can afford, good nutrition and stuff. And he's probably an active guy too. But it makes me sad because most of them don't know and are giving poor advice and don't have the time to give advice. He seems to want to give advice, but I've been asking him, so, hey, is this all natural? He's not responding to me. And he probably doesn't want to. He wants people to buy his BS secret of him having gear and, having these nice genetics. But you can clearly look at him. He's exogenously enhanced. Again, if he was honest about it, more power to you. It's a free country. A lot of people are doing that. I'm not one of those people. I'm trying to do things with, I haven't hit that point yet. And I'm here for those people that want to try this first. So, if you know a friend or a colleague or something that might need to hear some of this stuff, have them reach out to me. So there's a book called Atomic Habits, and how that's important is it's all about willpower. Well, number one, if you're addicted to stuff you don't realize you're addicted to, and you are, and I can clearly point that out. Wheat is one. We're all focused on sugar, and yes, sugar's really bad, but wheat turns into sugar in our body. Wheat also interacts with our opiate receptors. So how are you supposed to have any willpower? But if you had to spend some willpower and you knew one of these things was more effective than others, if you knew diet was more effective than exercise, which people don't think that way. They think, oh, I'm working hard. Yeah, I'm watching what I eat and stuff, but they're causing all this stress from all this working hard, and it's it's causing some counter problems with their diet. And so they put all of their willpower on there, and then they screw up. Then they don't have enough willpower at the end of the day, and especially if they're addicted, and then they're really sabotaging themselves with the cardio, all the stress, all the cortisol, right? And then causing your blood sugar to be doing these things. And then your willpower runs out, and you grab that thing, but you've earned it because you worked really hard. Wouldn't it be better if you knew, which is 100% true, that it's really the kitchen? I say it's 95% of your fitness and your health and your fat loss is in the kitchen. Is probably closer to 99. And this is coming from a guy who really worked his tail off. I've tried so many diets. Like, you name one, of course, Slim Fast, of course, Weight Watchers. I signed up for this group called MRC, and they put me on all these protocols, and they're all different shades of the same color. Move more, eat less. Move more causes stress. Eating less and eating the wrong things also causes stress. You're avoiding things. It's not the way to go. So if I was to put my willpower anywhere, I would 100% my willpower in the kitchen, and that's what I do. And willpower is something different, and I'll get into that. But I put it all in the kitchen, and I work out, and I make my workouts like so easy that they don't require any willpower. And I could get into that at some point. I maybe do an hour and a half, maybe an hour and 45 minutes in the gym if I go a third session a week, because my calendar opened up. But I'm usually in the gym twice a week. It's enjoyable. And it's a no-brainer thing. I'm not putting any willpower in a grueling workout. And I'm in my 50s, and I'm continuing to put on muscle and strength. I'm continuing to shed pounds and get thinner. And I feel amazing. No joint pain after tons of trauma in the Army. So again, I'm saying all that to say, if you're going to spend your willpower, do it in the kitchen. It's the thing that'll work. No one does that. We believe that hard work and stressing ourselves out gives you a payoff. And it does in a lot of things in life. Not in this circumstance. That work kicks endorphins, and there's benefits to some of these cardio things. But if your goal's fat loss, if your goal's abs, that is not serving you, or as close as you can have to looking like you have abs, looking really fit, right? So there's a guy named James Clear. He wrote an amazing book that I recommend called Atomic Habits. And the core idea about willpower, the problem isn't a lack of willpower. The thing with willpower is it's your environment. Highly disciplined people don't rely on superior self-control. I'm a food addict. You would think I had amazing self-control. I just understand these concepts. They design their environment so they need less willpower in the first place. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. So you set things up. So you're not relying on willpower when your motivation fades. That runs out, and the next thing you know, you're eating cake. If you've spent all your willpower on something else, right? People with strong self-control don't resist temptation more often. They encounter it less often because they design their environment. So here, listen to this, right? So they did a cafeteria study in a hospital, and merely switching the bottles of water in the cooler with soda, where you put them, they made it easier for you to grab bottles of water and a little bit harder for you to grab soda, even though it was all still there. Soda sales drops by 12%, and water sales increased by over 25%. Dinner plates. There was a Cornell University study. They took 12-inch diameter dinner plates and moved them to 10-inch diameter, and people ate 22% less, right? Just because their environment. I was brainwashed as a child, and even now, a recovering food addict, or whatever you want to call me, somebody who eats differently and enjoys food more than ever, I still have to clean my plate. So that would probably work for somebody like me. And it would probably also work for someone who wasn't they still needed a bigger variety of food, right? So the way I eat is I really eat as much as I want. I eat till I'm comfortably stuffed. So here's another example, so you understand willpower and environment. So in Vietnam, soldiers were getting addicted to heroin, horrible, painfully addicted to heroin, and merely bringing them home, 9 out of 10 heroin addicts, getting them out of that environment that was stressful. You had readily access to heroin. Those routines over there from being in Vietnam, 9 out of 10 of them quit without any formal treatment at all. And it was all based off of an environmental change. So men don't fail because of a lack of willpower. Here's why they fail. There's ultra processed food everywhere. Stress elevates cortisol and insulin, and you're going to store fat. And you do get stress from over exercising, right? So this isn't about some sort of abs workout. I'm not going to insult your intelligence. It's not hard to figure out how to do some crunches and some sit-ups, some hips to nips and some nips to hips. I can't believe I heard that today. That's great. I'm going to use that more because that's just where we are. So instead of trying harder, remove friction, remove triggers, structure your kitchen. This will stabilize your blood sugar and it lowers decision fatigue. Decision fatigue is a real thing. At the end of the day, you're not going to make good decisions. It doesn't matter how small of a decision you make. And that's something you could get from, that's out there too. I think that's also in Atomic Habits, right? At a certain point, I know as a teacher, let me use this as an example. I have high school kids and they are like baby birds in this ROTC program, JROTC. They are asking me random questions all day long, and I have to think about them, and I have to make little decisions on what I'm going to say to them. And at the end of the week, the kids I work with every day, I'm like, I can't even recall their last name. Like, I know this kid, I've traveled with this kid, and I'm like, hey, spell your last name, because my brain is spent. Right. But my environment's set up there. I'm not going to turn around and go eat cake at that point. Right. And that's ultimately what you have to do. So if you are interested and you like some of what you heard here, and I'm basically going to recap it. Let me make this shampoo simple for you. Stop focusing on the workouts. Keep working out. Enjoy your workouts. Switch your workouts to where they're enjoyable, and then make your food choices work. Put your willpower. If you're going to spend willpower, spend it on food choices, but then make it in a way so you don't. The choice is easy. So the good foods are available. You crowd out the bad food with the good healthy food. You make it easy. You give the thing your body wants. And then don't spend that willpower at the gym. Go to the gym. Go get some exercise. Make it fun and enjoyable. It's not hard to do things that are fun and enjoyable. I get a lot of activity walking. Rosie and Daisy, my dogs. That is not a challenge. So focus on the kitchen. That's where you put your effort. Understand willpower, so you can understand why you're tricking yourself and you're getting trapped, and continue to be active. But 95%, and it's probably closer to 99%, of fat loss and health is you in the kitchen. So if you liked any of this, and I can really get into the science, I've created an ebook on food addiction. I do work with people. Book a call with me. And no obligation. Book a call, we'll talk, and I'll do my best to help you. I'm a nerd about this. No strings attached. Book a call with me. We'll talk about it. I'll talk about your situation. And who I really want to talk to? I want to talk to those people that are frustrated and desperate like I was. And I promise you, I will give you hope, because I'm going to, in a short period of time, explain to you how this is almost easy when you really know what's going on. How we're avoiding the things that we really want, and we're poisoning ourselves. So, what's one thing you'd make in your kitchen this week to reveal those abs? I just made a steak. And steak is amazing, and steak helps with abs, in my opinion, and the science backs that up. Drop that in the comments below. I promise you I'm going to read them all, and help me build a community of people who no longer suffer silently, and who actually know what's going on. And I know everyone says that, but I'm healthier and fitter in my 50s than I was in my 30s when I ran my tail off.